Hey, friends. So glad that you're here. I'm glad to be back with you all. I'm going to get a little bit adjusted here. So, we're doing something a little different today. We are going to do more of a meditation style yoga today, and I'm going to lead us through a couple of breathing exercises. Today, we're talking about the power of perception. And it's a really powerful thing because what happens is that we have the power of perception. It goes and our perception of something actually then dictates our emotions about something. So we have this initial perception, and then what happens is our emotions are triggered from that, which then kind of determines what we do out of that. Or a lot of times our emotions are what determine our behavior. And then that behavior actually reinforces the perception that we typically have about something. So it's kind of this loop or this cycle that happens, and our brains are trained to do those things automatically. So it just starts going like this, and then it's like a merry-go-round that you can't get off. And so what we get to do in our work of healing and of being aware of our own traumas, of being aware of our own triggers, is that we get to slow that ride way down. And then we become aware of what is my perception of this situation? What are the emotions that I'm experiencing? And what am I choosing to do out of those emotions? And so when we become aware of those things, then we can change the story, we can change the narrative and have a completely different experience of life. And so if you want to go ahead and just start by sitting on the edge of your chair, we're going to take a nice deep breath in our nose and a soft sigh out your mouth. And do that again in your nose, out of your mouth. And then see if you can lengthen that breath a little bit more. So inhale and exhale. I'd love to invite you to pay attention to your shoulders. Maybe you want to roll them back a little bit, kind of sit up and lengthen your spine a little bit. Go ahead and tuck your chin just slightly. A lot of times we spend a lot of our life like this with our head jutted forward because we're all typing or on our phones or looking at something specific. So just make sure that that head is in alignment with your shoulders and your hips as you sit nice and tall in your chair. And then I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and take your feet and place them about hip width apart, but you're going to make sure that your feet are flat on the floor, that all four corners of your feet, so to speak, really are connecting with the floor so you can feel nice and grounded. And then go ahead and take another deep breath in your nose and out of your mouth. And the first thing that we're going to do today is just notice what our experience is in this moment. So, as you are sitting here and breathing and sitting tall, you can ask yourself, what are the thoughts that come to mind about this moment? And maybe those thoughts might be something like, I feel really good in this moment. I feel whole. I feel complete. I feel like I'm doing the right thing, because I'm here and practicing this yoga today. Maybe, though, you're having some other perceptions of the moment. Maybe you're feeling a little bit silly because you've not done things like this before. Maybe you feel a little bit lonely because that's been kind of your life narrative that's been running through your mind. Whatever it is that you're thinking in this moment, just start to pay attention to that. And then keep breathing. So go ahead and feel free to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take another deep breath. And then I'm going to encourage you to take your right hand up overhead as you inhale. And then you're going to take your left hand as you exhale, and you're going to go ahead and grab your wrist like this and then pull over to the opposite side, getting a nice side stretch. So again, continuing to breathe, noticing your thoughts. Go ahead and release that all the way down again. Very good. Our next step is then to notice what emotions come up because of the thoughts that we're having. So again, sitting nice and tall, checking in with your spine, that it's nice, elongated, and taking a deep breath. And then checking in, what do I feel? I know that's easier for some of us than others. And so I just want to encourage you to lean into a bit of bravery and a bit of courage in this moment, to really experience those emotions and what you're feeling in this moment. So again, breathing deeply, checking in. A lot of times, what happens if we're having a narrative in our minds that says, I feel good in this moment, I feel, like I'm doing the right thing, like I'm whole, or whatever those thoughts might be, a lot of times that expresses itself in our bodies as peace or contentment, as a feeling of fulfillment. Usually, you might feel like your heart kind of coming forward a little bit. You might feel some alignment between your head and heart. There's a lot of different ways that that can express itself in the body, but those are just some of the ways. Now, if you are in a different place today, and maybe you're feeling like, some of those other narratives, like we talked about, maybe I'm feeling a little bit silly because I've not done this before. And so I'm, feeling a little bit embarrassed or something like that. That again usually tends to like express itself in a certain way in the body. So you might feel that in your shoulders. You might be kind of turning those shoulders in. You might be kind of tucking your chin down further just because you're like, don't want to be seen or that sort of thing. If you're feeling lonely, that also, again, has, an expression in the body. And so the encouragement in this moment is to, again, use your breathing, slow the moment way down. Keep breathing and then notice. So we already took time to notice what are the thoughts that are running through our head. So now we're moving down into our feelings and what are those feelings that we're feeling that are connected to those thoughts. So again, we're not judging those things, we're just noticing them. So again, go ahead and take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to encourage you on your next inhale to go ahead and raise your left arm up. And then you're going to take that other arm and then go ahead and grab that wrist like this and pull over to the other side. Continuing to breathe. One more. And then go ahead and release that all the way down. Very good. I'm going to encourage you to open up your heart space. So you're going to roll those shoulders back, kind of pull your heart forward as you look up toward the ceiling. And if you would like, you can then go ahead and place your hands on the front side of your knees, kind of for support. And then you're going to arch that back and tuck your chin. And then you're going to go ahead and just roll through a couple of those, opening up your chest. And then exhaling, arching that back down. Just doing a couple of those. And then coming back to center Again, sitting nice and tall, feeling your feet flat on the floor, feeling the seat supporting you underneath. And then we're going to check in now with our behaviors. When you feel this certain way, what are the things that you typically do? What are kind of your go-to options? So, for example, if I am feeling really angry about something, I know some of you might wonder if I even get angry because I don't do that often, but yes, it happens. And when I feel really angry about something, one of the behaviors that I do is I go for a run to try to just get that anger out of my system and be able to express it in a healthy way. For some of us, there might be other coping patterns that we use, other things that we do that are tied to our emotions. And so, again, this is a moment for us not to judge ourselves, but just to notice what are the patterns in your life. So, when you're feeling a certain thing, what are the things that you typically do with that emotion? So go ahead and close your eyes, sit nice and tall. Again, soften your gaze if it's not comfortable for you to close your eyes, and then take another deep breath. And then see if you can connect that feeling to an action. So maybe it's, I feel overwhelmed, I feel very stressed, and maybe one of those coping mechanisms is eating ice cream. I mean, who knows? It could be something else. Maybe it's I feel lonely, and so um, I have this feeling of loneliness, but I have been hurt by people in the past, and so I shut everybody out. So I build those walls around myself, and I tell myself I am alone, and that I don't need people, or whatever. Again, whatever that story is that you're telling yourself, or that has been your experience in life, and then connect that to what your actions might be or how you respond in that. So again, taking the shoulders up towards your ears, really nice and tight, and then release those down. Let's do that one more time. Shoulders up towards your ears. As you exhale, allow those shoulders to come down. And then we're going to think about those thoughts, okay, in our heads. We're going to move on back to the first part of our circle here. I'm going to invite you to turn your palms up on top of your thighs or on top of your knees, letting those rest open. And we're going to imagine those thoughts, all the swirling, storytelling, narrative stuff that we've been talking about. And we're going to let those kind of melt down across our shoulders, down our arms, all the way down and up and out of our fingertips. So let's just do some of that. Again, imagining those things traveling down through your neck and shoulders, down along your arms, across the palm of your hand, and then up and out of your fingertips. Continuing to breathe as you do that. Very good. Very good. I know that's might feel a little bit strange, but thanks for trying this. It's so good. When you're ready, we're going to move on to that next part of the circle again, which is that feeling part. And so those thoughts and those narratives, they create emotions in our bodies, as we said. So we're going to start with our emotions, which are a lot of times here or also like in our gut area. So again, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, and then picture all of that emotion wherever it's being held in your body, and think about it traveling down your body, in and through your legs, over your knees, down through the lower part of your legs, and then out your toes. Again, continuing to breathe as you do so. Again, allowing that feeling to just kind of melt down through your body, through the legs, over the knees, down through your calves, into your feet, and then again, releasing that energy out your toes. One more deep breath here. And then the next part of our practice today is we are now turning toward the what are we doing part. And so the encouragement is in this moment to think about what you want to do, that something like a way that you wish your life looked, and maybe some steps that you might take in order to achieve that. So again, changing that narrative for ourselves today. So maybe my narrative is I'm feeling, or I know that I'm alone in the world, right? Nobody's there for me, whatever that story might be, right? That creates feelings of loneliness in me. Normally, I might shut everybody out, just kind of build a wall around myself, right? But instead, now being aware that I actually think that I'm alone, that I feel lonely, maybe I can actually change what I'm doing. So maybe I'm going to think about somebody who could be a trusted person. And maybe today I'm going to try to reach out to them. Doesn't mean that it's going to go perfectly, but maybe I'm going to step into courage today and then see if I can reach out to that person. Because what that does is then that changes my narrative, right? I realize, oh, I'm not alone, and that there are people who will support me, and that I can reach out for help. So again, we're going to take those shoulders up towards our ears. And then as you exhale, release those down. And then we're going to take that right arm up overhead. Go ahead and exhale and grab that wrist with the other like this. And then sit nice and tall as you inhale once more. And then exhale over to the side. We're going to switch sides, so releasing that all down. Kind of sitting nice and tall again, inhaling the left arm up this time. Exhaling and grabbing that wrist with the other hand. And then sitting nice and tall, inhaling. And then exhaling as we lean off to the other side. And releasing that all down. Go ahead and open your palms on your thighs again. Sit nice and tall, checking in that everything is in alignment. Taking one or two more cleansing breaths. And remember that when you start to get in a loop like this and it's just automatically going, remember that you can use your breath to slow things way down and to go, okay, what am I thinking in this moment? What am I feeling? And then also, what am I doing in this moment? And then realize that you have the possibility to choose something different. So thank you all for spending time with me today. I wish nothing but the best for you today, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.